So today I'm opening up my box that has my spinning wheel in it. I already have my Mach 3 out because it had been here at Tina Stowers of My Homesteading Project. So go check her out. As you can see, there is the Mach 3 in the background. And the one that I'm putting up today is my hopper. The hopper is a much better traveling wheel. Here is my Dirty Rotten Bastard that I'm so sad. It made it here, but it looks like most of it came out. It is the soap from Natalie from Namaste Farms. I use it for washing mohair and really dirty fleece, and I adore it. So Namaste Farms, I'll try and remember to put the link below. I haven't done any spinning for a long time. So I have some purple. This was for my mom's birthday. Let's see, what's this one? This one almost looks like, this is alpaca, but it also looks a little bit like Angora rabbit fiber. Very, very, very soft, very fine. This one is also some alpaca, but it's a little bit dirtier. I love to spin with good alpaca. If you get not so good alpaca, a lot of times I've had some problems with some grays where I had a lot of guard hair. This one is a coarser wool, and it is in roving. I don't really like to spin with roving. The reason is that when they process it, it takes all the crimp out and all the lanolin, and I feel like it just makes it coarse and it loses a lot of its personality. Everything is like everything else just because it's all been so chemically treated that none of the actual body and essence of the animal is left in it. And Natalie referred to that in the video we made while we were at her place, that spinning from the lock can be a really amazing experience because you get to experience the animal. You could get to experience what the fiber originally wanted to be. So this is the Lazy Kate that goes with this hopper. Now, the thing about Lazy Kates is these little spikes here, having a kid trip around these and you'd lose an eye, it could go through a chest cavity, you could have all sorts of bad things happen by leaving this out unless you put your bobbins on them, and then it's safe. So I'm going to put this on here just for safety. These two are safe. Also, when you use one of these Spinolution wheels, the little plastic grommet goes on the bottom and then it spins off easier. If you do it on this end, it doesn't spin off very well. It kind of holds on to it. Little plastic thing, grommet. Okay, so now the Lazy Kate can go on the ground. It is safe. You see how it works? But it also has this little attachment on it that moves, that allows you to lock it into place on the spinning wheel itself. Here's the flyer and the bobbin and everything. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay, so this is the main part of the wheel. Now this is like a kickstand that goes on the back, but it snaps into place when it's traveling. Okay, so now we really are going to move to the floor. I'm going to have to point you at my feet in order for you to be able to see what I'm doing. Here are my drive bands and my little brakes and attachments and everything. Obviously you can tell the difference. This thick band is not meant to go on this part of the wheel. And it always takes me a second when I'm putting it back together to remember where everything goes. And then in order to get this in, you have to lift both pedals up at once, which is why I kind of like to have like a child around or something. And what that does is when you lift these up, I'll show you with my foot. See how this opens? But you have to lift both of them at the same time, and then you can hold them. And I need to hold this up. Okay, I think I had it backwards. And can I just tell you, I do this every single time. It makes me feel really dumb. Okay, so lift that up, keep it open, bring this down. Yeah, so the big one does go on here, like that. So fat one goes behind, because it's going on the actual, it's attached to the pump, which is attached to the arm. So that goes behind. So I'll bring you around to show you how that works. But now I have that put in, I can let go of the pedals and it just clamps in. I'll turn this around for you so you can see. All right, so what we're looking at is this right here. This is your brake. Like that. Okay, so if you need to slow it down so that it makes for thicker, this is how you do it. And then this is just the attachment that goes in the side. That attaches the top. Okay, so this little metal piece you see right here, that's what you're aiming for. Ta-da! Now, if you want to go from the small to the big, all you have to do, hopefully you can still see that. Can you still see that? Is go on this other side and catch the drive band in that little, do you see that little wedge right there? So you don't want to try and stretch it on. You want it in that little, see that groove there? You put it in that groove and that puts it on. So hopefully that made sense. So here's your brake, here's your drive band. This is your big drive band, which means that by putting it from the small one up onto the big one, it's going to pull really hard and twist less. So if we wanted it to not do that, we would put it onto the smaller one, which will give you finer yarn with more twist. And then the same thing goes with this one. So you see these small grooves here? They are decorative only. This only stays on the big part of the wheel. What you can change is these little grooves. So I can put it up on the really tall one. I can put it down on the smallest one right there. The smallest one will spin more times for how many times you pedal it, meaning that you'll have a finer twist and it will pull less. So there's the next one, see that? And then there's the next one, see that? And then last but not least, there's the really big one. So if you wanted it to pull really hard and have very little twist in it, you put this here, and then you take and put your back band on your biggest whirl too. And that way it would just pull really, really hard, very, very little twist if you have it here and here. And if you want it at its smallest point, you put it all the way down to here and down to here. And there's your brake. This would also make it so that it pulled harder and twisted less. I very rarely use this because this is meant, so this wheel is meant for art yarns, big fat art yarns, and for traveling and for spinning from the lock and just really playing with it. It's not really meant for worsted yarn. It is a fantastic wheel. It's going to pull a lot more than the Mach 3 will. The Mach 3 is a fine-tuned machine. It's not meant to be taken anywhere. It's meant to be a studio machine. It's very heavy. It has a lot of whirls. It can go from very, very fine to very, very thick. It has big bobbins. This one you can get big bobbins on. So these are, they're not old-fashioned machines. They're very ergonomically correct. They are not made out of, they're made out of a special kind of like plywood, is my understanding. And they are just fantastic. If you want a production wheel, these are great production wheels. If you like something that's more old-fashioned looking and not ergonomically correct, I really like Kromsky. They're somewhere between like $500 and $800 a piece, I think. I really like the Minstrel. And if you want really fine sock yarn and thread weight yarn, get the Symphony. Those are really great wheels. I like these ones because I don't hurt after I've spun them and I can spin them for a really long time. This is my favorite as far as ergonomics go. I can sit on my bouncy ball and spin for a long time. I don't get sore. I wish it pulled a little bit less, and I wish it did slightly finer yarn. The longer I spin with it, the longer I own it, the more I love it. And it seems like it loosens up and doesn't pull as much the longer you spin with it. But if I was doing production and I wanted it to be a really fine yarn, like what I've done with Amy's sweater that I'm working on, I did all that spinning on my Mach 3 because I needed it to be perfect and I needed it to be really reliable. This one is really meant for art yarn. Okay, so here again is my my Lazy Kate. We'll see if I can show it to you in a way that you can see. And that's just exactly how it fits in there. You saw how simple that was. Turn them this way. And that way they just don't extend so far out into the room. There we go. So that's how you would do your, if you were taking some kind of fancy yarn and putting it into another yarn, if you're plying, if you just don't want somewhere to store your bobbins, this is a machine that is well loved. So, hope that was fun. If you have any requests for anything else you'd like to see me do with spinning or knitting or anything, let me know. It's Fiber Flirtations, I think is what I called my new channel, so make sure to go check it out. We have these in our Etsy store. If you're interested in going and looking at them or asking me any questions, you can ask at dirtpatchheaven@gmail.com, or you can message me on Etsy.